Want to go out to a movie? Or maybe watch a movie at home, but you can't decide on what to watch? Head on over to freemovieinformation.com. The movie trailers and descriptions for thousands of movies, both current and older, are all in one place. freemovieinformation.com. Thousands of movie trailers, one location. freemovieinformation.com.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the All Digital Radio Network. Whether you're a brand new listener or a longtime fan, you've probably noticed that we have quite a lineup. Do you have a business, an organization, or a group that needs global exposure? Have you been priced out of the traditional radio market, or are you seeking a new, innovative way to reach your customer base in this advanced digital age? Radio advertising is one of the most inexpensive and effective ways to get your message out to the mass public. We have advertising packages for almost any budget with the same quality you've come to expect from the All Digital Radio Network. Give us a call today at 312-324-0180, or you can email us at advertising@alldigitalradio.com. Let the All Digital Radio Network broadcast your business message to the world crystal clear.
Did you know that the federal government gives away over $400 billion in grants each year to private citizens like you? Go to findthegrant.com. These programs require no credit check, no collateral, no cosigner. What you need is the correct information found at findthegrant.com. If you're a U.S. taxpayer, you are entitled to your slice. Get the information to get started today. www.findthegrant.com.
You are listening to the All Digital Radio Network.
The virus has completely devastated over 150 of the world's major regions and is spreading rapidly. At this point in time, we know of only one method of killing the creatures, or to destroy the brain. Be on the guard of any loved ones who may have recently been in any sort of contact with the infected. And if you find yourself in a threatened position, please do not hesitate to act. Again, because this is not a test. This is not a joke. We as a species are overwhelmed. We are outnumbered.
Walker Wednesday starts now.
Oh my God, they're everywhere.
And here we go. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Wait a minute, Locke. We can't.
What?
We got to make sure that everybody has signed their non-disclosure agreement first.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't even sign the one from Zynga. So
Sorry, continue.
They don't tell me anything. It is time for Walker Wednesday. This is our last show of the season. So it's our last Walker Wednesday of the season until we start with Fear the Walking Dead. Get your flu shots. And
or maybe not.
So you can be part of the Walker Nation. But, oh, what a show. We had episode 516, that's season 5, episode 16 per season now, directed by, what's his name? Nicoletto. What's his first name?
Nicotero. Greg Nicotero.
Greg Nicotero. He just had a birthday recently. Mm-hmm. I wasn't invited. Go figure. But, who's with me tonight? We've got Beatrice is with us tonight. She's up in the watchtower with her sniper rifle.
Hello, everyone.
And she'll take you out if you start messing up in the walkie-talkie box. We got Miss Wendy Big Nut King with us.
Hey there.
And if you want to know why they call her Big Nut, you got to listen to the Sunday show.
I don't think I want to know.
There are no squirrels left in Georgia. We also have Mr. CB Snow with us.
Hey, all. Hi, LJ.
There you go. You got to say hey to LJ. When's LJ's birthday?
Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yep.
How did I know that? It was soon. We got to say happy birthday to LJ.
Happy birthday, LJ. You're 4 years old.
Oh, yes. He's growing. He'll be able to hit you in the gut now instead of lower.
No, he hasn't grown that much taller, so no, I still got to wear my cup when he's around.
Teach him how to aim high. But we got one heck of a show. It was a 90-minute season finale. And our opening scene, Wendy, who did we see?
Morgan.
You've been yelling for Morgan ever since the season started.
I have. And because they teased it when he found that map. And I thought that he's got to show up at some point. They can't leave us hanging on that. So there he was. I was so happy. And they made it just like super, bang. He was there in the opening scene. It's great.
Yep, he was there sleeping in a car. I bet he does a lot of that, find a little safe place to sleep. And did anybody else notice the rabbit's foot in the mirror?
Yes.
Yeah, they showed it multiple times.
Well, he had a rabbit's foot that he put down when he went to pray in the church, that Gabriel's church. And he left like a rabbit's foot as almost like a sacrifice, it looked like, almost like he was paying homage. And he left some little snacks and so forth. I guess he wanted to pay for using somebody's church. Mm-hmm. I guess he didn't notice all the body parts from the termites that were there. But he looks up, he smiles at that. Then we see Morgan, doing his probably his regular morning ritual. I couldn't tell what he was having. Was he having oatmeal or cocoa or?
It was.
I thought he said it was cocoa.
Yeah, it looked kind of like cocoa. He's boiling the water.
Remember those cup of soup? And it's like, I don't think it was bad. Those were so bad. Yeah, it was probably cocoa.
Well, you got to figure coffee is probably a rare treat at this point. Because coffee beans are shipped into the country and ground, fresh daily. Who knows how much of a supply is left, even with 90% of the population turning Walker. But
there's Dunkin' Donuts every 20 feet in Massachusetts, so.
Yeah, they need to go further north. And Walkers move slower in the cold.
That'll be the next spinoff show.
I wonder what happens when a Walker gets caught in the snow. Does he just freeze up? Yeah, I'd go north. I'm sorry, I would just go north.
Yeah.
See if CB has gotten infected yet. Stay with him and LJ for a while.
Hey, the snow just melted off my roof yesterday.
Oh, gosh. Poor CB. We're buried in pollen here, so we're way ahead of you, CB.
Wendy's probably already had her first 85-degree day.
Yeah.
And then some. But it was kind of ominous, and you got to give it to Greg. He pulled the shot back so you see Morgan just sitting there, getting ready to make his cocoa. And then one of the little wolf boys shows up. And I don't think we got a name for either one of these two little jerks. And I don't believe they're the brains behind the wolf operation either.
No,
if they were, they're not going to be much. If they're the smart ones.
Yeah. But they have a little interesting conversation. Little wolf boy comes up with the W carved in his forehead. And that's another ominous thing. All these W's you see in these walkers, I don't believe these are W's etched into walkers. I think these are W's etched into live people that they've killed.
I think you're right.
So, they're like serial killers.
Oh, they're just evil.
With the few people that are left in the world, they're going out of their way to mark the few living people that are left and take them out. And that's pretty evil right there. But he's got a gun aimed at Morgan, and Morgan's just playing it cool. Morgan is so zen at this point.
Yeah.
He said, "That looks good. Hi." And Morgan just looks at him and goes, "What's the W for?" And this to me would be so typical in this type of apocalyptic world where some charismatic leader comes up with a religion. And this one happens to be based on wolves. He explains how the first settlers in that part put out bounties on wolves' head. And the natives even helped the settlers kill all the wolves. That's why you don't see any wolves in most of North Carolina and Virginia. And then he points to his head and says, "They're back now."
Yeah, it's just so strange.
And Morgan, being cryptic as he can, everything gets a return. And Wolf Boy's kind of getting, kind of excited because he's actually got somebody to talk to that he doesn't have to kill. It's real nice.
Doesn't have to kill yet.
Yeah, not yet anyway. but he's he's never gets to meet new people that he's because he's too busy killing them. And this is nice. You can see Morgan kind of react over his shoulder at that point, and this is still like 2 minutes before the other guy jumps out.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of get the idea when you're watching it for the first time, but obviously when you watch it for the second time, he can hear the guy coming up behind him. At this point, Morgan doesn't know the gun's not loaded, So he's just got to do what he's got to do. If he gets his head blown off, he gets his head blown off. What are you going to do, cringe and cry? You come this long through the Walker apocalypse, you just got to keep going. Morgan goes to sip his cocoa. Do you recall what the guy tells him when he goes to sip his own cocoa?
Yeah, I think he says, put it down. Or don't, put it down.
Basically, he told him not to drink it.
Yeah, because it's his now. It's not yours anymore. How psychotic is this guy? Now he's just going to torture some man that he met in the forest before he kills him.
Yeah, and then he says, then Morgan's like, well, can I just have a sip? So I can survive a couple more days.
It's like the soup Nazi. No cocoa for you.
Oh, Cocoa Nazi. There we go. Yeah. He said he wants everything you have, every last drop. And like you said, Morgan said, can I keep he wasn't referring to the cocoa at this point. He was referring to his supplies. Can I keep a little just to keep me alive for a couple of days?
Yeah.
And he says, I'm taking everything you have, and you're not exactly going to be alive to say anything about it. And then we hear a little bit more about the new wolf religion story. Some of the tribes believe the first people that inhabited this part of the country were wolves transformed into men. What bull crap. They have some charismatic leader somewhere that got a bunch of these little peons and convinced them that they're all wolves.
Oh my gosh.
But then Morgan starts going Jedi Master on him. You can have my supplies, but I can't allow you to take me. I will not.
No, he's more like Cain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That he wandered the earth.
He's got a stick.
He knows kung fu all of a sudden now.
Yep.
And they were too slow, grasshopper. Because he beat them like a red-headed stepchild named Abraham 30 years ago. We see the other wolf come out, and one's brown-haired, one's blonde. And I had to look at this several times to make sure those were the two further down the story, and they were, so they didn't die at this point. But he beats them silly with that damn stick. He ties them together and finds out the gun's empty. Did you notice, though, when he killed the walker with the stick, he took time to wash his stick?
Yeah.
Every time he used his stick, he took time to wash it.
I don't want to get his stick dirty.
Certainly not.
He's proud of that stick.
That's a damn
it's a
good
great
stick.
Yeah.
It's not
as sticks go, it's top of the line stick.
It's not a walking tall Buford T. Pusser stick or anything, but it's a damn good stick. But
I wish I thought so. You see them later in the show. I wish you'd killed them.
Well,
but that's not
obviously
his mindset right now.
Yeah, he doesn't kill people. He apparently now he cherishes his life. But he tied them together and beat the horn so the walkers would come after him. He wasn't going to kill him. But if the walkers happened to get to him, I guess that was okay with his zen.
Well, either that or he was signaling if anybody else was around, because you couldn't tell whether or not he left the car doors open. I don't think he did. And why even throw him in a car if you're going to leave him for walkers? Just tie him to a tree.
Well, it's like they said. Maybe he wanted to give him a fighting chance, which was apparently a bad move. But he does take the lucky rabbit's foot.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't leaving him any good mojo.
Yeah.
We have a question here from Carlisa Smith. She wants to know what happened to Morgan's son. And also Angeline says that Morgan said that he used to play with Donatello in The Talking Dead after the show. So
I have no idea
Well,
what
that's how he did the training. He did the training for 6 weeks with the person who taught Donatello in the
the Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja Turtles, yeah.
Well,
that's cool.
that's how the actor learned to do all that stuff.
Yes.
But we still don't know how the character
We don't know how he did.
learned how to do it. And
the son.
we did find out the son passed away the last time we saw Morgan. Carl and Rick, I'm not sure if they were alone, or I think Michonne might have been with them. Carl, Rick, and Michonne were going through this little Mayberry-type town, and they ran over these barriers. And these barriers would stick to walkers, and the walkers couldn't get through them. And Morgan was holed up in there going psychotic. He had enough ammunition to go to war with Russia. And Rick came up on him, realized it was him because he had a full, face mask on. He didn't know it was him until they actually taken him down. And he didn't even recognize Rick. He was he was grieving over the loss of his son, which apparently might have ran up to his mother and got bitten by his mother. I believe that's the way it ended. Don't hold me to that.
So the mother, who was a walker,
who couldn't
killed the son.
Yeah, who couldn't be. He could have taken her out because he was sharpshooting.
He had her in the crosshairs at one point. And he couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, he just couldn't do it. And apparently his son finally broke down, ran up to her, got bit, and he lost both of them, and he was grief-stricken. And that's where we had left him. But Rick still leaves breadcrumbs for him to find all over the place in case he ever catches up to him, knowing that he might be in a better place one day. Then we get a glimpse of... just back to the story. We get a glimpse of Daryl and Aaron out recruiting, and we'll get to them a little bit later. But we flash. Oh, this show flashed all over the place. Rick finally wakes up from being Michonne'd in the last episode.
Whack! Shut up, Rick! Whack!
And CB, I got to ask you because I did not get this at all. He's laughing, and Michonne's there and says, "What's so funny?" It's like the train car. After the whole thing, I'm still there. What the heck did that mean?
Well, he was surprised that he was still alive. I mean, with the train car in Terminus, when they were over the... Remember, just before the Carol blew the place up, they were over the trough and they were all about to get their throats slit.
I did not even put two and two together on that one.
Yeah,
that's why we have CB here. He catches everything.
Well, he figured he was dead at that point. Well, he figured after the fight with Porch Limp Dick that he would then, they'd kill him because that's what I think.
That's what he'd do.
That's what he'd do.
But so he's surprised that he's still alive, and
he's surprised he's alive, yeah. Or he's surprised he's either that he's alive or he's still inside the compound.
Oh,
and who patched them up anyway? Pocahontas? Those Band-Aids look like war paint.
Well, I'm sure there's not that much for medical supplies, and I got a feeling that Porch Dick wasn't going to exactly put them back together.
Yeah, but his face was the same way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
But Rick and Michonne kind of catch up,
Yeah, how's everything with you? Family's fine.
Yeah, it said Carl came by, Pete's in another house. They talk about the gun, and then here comes Carol. Carol's a spy. I'm sorry. Carol works for the people that started the. I'm sure of it now. Carol works for the people that started the apocalypse. She was part of the team that developed the virus. I'm pretty sure of it now.
You know what they put it in?
Blue.
Casserole.
Go ahead. Oh, casserole.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you were going to go with your theory on the outbreak.
No.
Hey, cookies, we'd all be done. Have a cookie. Look at the flowers. Have a cookie. But then, like I said, Carol comes in with Abe, and Carol's still playing secret agent. And he said, "Why do we lie to these people? Why do we tell them stories?" I love stories. They're like children. Children like stories. We still have knives. We can kill them all. Here's the plan. You take Deanna, you take Reg, you take Spencer, you cut his throat, and then we're in charge. They're sitting there, and they're planning this.
Simple as pie.
Oh,
so creepy.
Or simple as casserole.
Yeah, those casseroles are nasty. I don't even think she cooks them. I think she just puts water and starchy stuff and makes it look like noodles or whatever.
Well, even Reg wouldn't eat it, so.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, he don't eat anything now. But we see we're going to see Maggie trying to win support for Rick. But it's funny how the scene opens. She's staring down Gabriel
Out the window.
window.
Mm-hmm.
And then she don't like him now. She goes into the meeting with Deanna and Reg, and she's basically playing politician. That's her new role.
Why didn't she tell anybody, though?
Who what?
About Gabriel.
Why didn't she tell anybody about Gabriel? You know how she was standing on the stairs and she was listening to the conversation between Gabriel and Deanna. So she knew everything that Gabriel was saying, but it's obvious the way the show played out, she never told anyone.
Right. Why didn't she tell even Glenn?
Well, things happened real quick. I can only speculate. Things happened real quick, and she is becoming a politician. You know, did you see how Deanna got upset when she said that we've lost a lot of things you've lost? You know, she lost her son. And it's the first thing she's lost since this whole thing started. And she just, her world is the only thing that matters to her. She's not worried about people that have lost their entire family, seen their friends ripped apart in front of them. She's just worried that she lost her son. That was a little selfish. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught that too.
I did, yeah. I thought that too.
You know, sure, she's hurting, but that was just a little selfish in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, they don't live in this world. They live in their own little world.
And we've got that separation. But what was it? Oh, they were talking about he pulled a gun. He couldn't have pulled a gun. Well, he didn't fire it at you. He didn't blow your head off. Oh, that's a metric? Yeah. Yeah, that means a lot. You know, he didn't shoot you. This is Rick. He'd bite your throat off.
Yeah.
We've seen him do that.
Yeah. Yeah, he claimed Joe all right. But then Reg has a story about the caveman. Cavemen wandered. Cavemen went extinct. And when people finally sat down and formed communities and tribes, civilization began. And that's what, he told Maggie he was going to try and talk Deanna into realizing this to keep Rick and the group. Mm-hmm. And then we get to the creepiest part of the entire show, as far as I'm concerned.
Sasha.
She's not in the Watchtower, CB, so she's not going all psycho.
Charles Whitman.
Yeah, Charles Whitman. I keep forgetting his name, but man, she got creepy.
Yeah, that's what I would do just to calm myself. I'd lie up walkers. What if one of them wasn't quite dead?
It's that death wish again.
It was just playing possum.
Yeah.
They're dead. She kind of wanted to be dead, so she laid with the dead to see if she could feel any kind of peace. But that was just weird.
Yeah, that was a little sick.
We heard a little bit more, though, from Aaron talking to Darren about, and this I did not get whatsoever. Okay, so Davidson and two other people were the ones that were banished. There was 2 men, 1 woman. Davidson, another man, and a woman were banished in the early days. Davidson was the leader of the group, but he was also recruited by Aaron.
Right. Aaron said he brought him in, so he had to escort him out.
So I guess he came in and took over and went all governor on them.
I thought my impression of what he meant is he was the leader of their group, the way that Rick is the leader of his group.
Could be. I might have to listen to it again. But in the comics, Davidson was the leader of Alexandria.
Oh, okay.
Or a man named Alexander Davidson, I believe, was the leader. I'm going to have to check on that, too.
I took it the way you took it, Locke. I also interpreted it that he was the leader of Alexandria.
You never saw mention of him in the comics. All you saw was his gravestone because they basically just took him out. But I guess this group of Alexandrians don't do that. They banish people.
So is he still alive? Is he still around?
The fact that Aaron, Aiden, and Nicholas actually drove them to their banishment and didn't get killed doing it was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figured, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. 4 should have wound up dead just with that group protecting them.
Well, maybe they're even more incompetent.
Well, these two, Davidson was supposed to be like kind of like Rick, very smart, very tactical, but who knows if he ever got that much experience. And will he be the guy that's leading the Wolves
I know.
at this point? That's what we, have to wait and see.
Yes.
But Carol brings Rick another gun. Like getting in trouble with the first one wasn't enough. She is just pushing buttons, isn't she?
Kill them all.
And I love what she says to Rick. Rick says, I don't want to lie no more. He says, oh, you want to take over this place and you don't want to lie? Well, Sunshine, you don't get both. I don't know who is in charge of writing the script, but they are doing an amazing job.
That was perfect for her.
Sunshine,
for
you don't get to have both. So he's got the gun that Daryl turned down because Daryl didn't want his gun. Daryl's got a crossbow. What's he need with a gun? He'll just shoot you in the head with an arrow.
Well, they said that they were guarding the handguns now, but considering what they have in Alexandria, the guards couldn't be that competent.
Yeah, but they'd still probably make a stink getting in there, make a lot of noise, and alert everybody else so they could all come running in time to get shot. But I guess they didn't want to go that route.
Carol would just slip in and slice all their throats. They wouldn't
she
even,
would.
They'd be dead before they hit the ground. They wouldn't even know it.
But then we flip back out, and apparently we're 50 miles outside of Alexandria, which means we could be anywhere in the Virginia area at this point. Who knows if they went 50 miles north or 50 miles west. They went 50 miles east, they'd be in the middle of the Atlantic, but so I don't think they did that. Or if they went down toward the North Carolina border. No, I'm not really sure where they are, but they're 50 miles, good hour away from Alexandria, and they spot Red Hoodie.
Oh.
Poor guy didn't get a name. He didn't get a story. All we know is he knows how to. He would have been like the mosquito repellent entrepreneurial millionaire of the apocalyptic world. Because he knew how to use wild leaks.
And that's what he was doing when they had the binoculars and were watching him. I didn't know that. So wild leaks is a mosquito repellent.
You try it. Let me know how it works.
Yeah. Go out in your yard, get naked, run wild leaks all over you. If you get any bug bites, she'll do it too. Trust me.
We want film.
Just to test it, yeah. But they're like onions? Oh, so they must smell terrible.
Yeah. I didn't say you wouldn't stink, but you won't get bit by bugs. Then we flip back, and Rick decides to go for a walkabout. I think it's kind of funny how Tobin's got a gun and he steps back and the boys are just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. Oh, this is the bow-legged Rick scene. Yeah. He's just walking by. And...
He gives Deanna a glance. And we flip right over to Glenn and Maggie, and it's a scary I love you. At this point, I think Glenn is dead. You cannot be nice and say I love you to your wife in this world without dying. And, of course, Glenn spots Nicholas, going over the wall. And at the same time, Father Dick, Gabriel, goes out the gate.
Just for a short walk.
Yeah, he don't need a gun. All he needs is the word of God to protect him,
Oh, God.
Yeah, in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, I'm just going to go out for a walk.
Well, this is the part that kind of got me. Okay, was Carl playing Rick? When Rick tells him, you're staying home, and he goes, oh, we're calling this home now. So, I guess you're planning on staying. And then he keeps saying, tell them.
He wants to get in Enid's pants.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
So he probably does. Is he
playing his father, or is he trying to help his father see through the fog? It's really hard to tell, but yeah, I think I agree with CB. He just wants to stay there to get busy with Enid.
Yeah, that's his main concern now. He suddenly realized he's a teenager at 14. Wow. And there's a GIRL nearby.
If they go back out, he's going to have to learn how to throw a rap on Michonne, and I don't think that's going to work. And then we go back to Daryl and Aaron. And apparently, Red Hoodie not only can use wild leaks to keep the skeeters off of him, he can lose Daryl and Aaron.
Yeah.
While he's wearing a red vest in the woods.
Yep.
A red cape. He looks like Backstrom. You ever see the Backstrom?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a new TV show that's on, and he's an obnoxious police officer, and he wears, when it's raining out, he wears this giant red poncho. Same thing this guy's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly camouflaged.
No,
I could see Aaron losing him, but not Daryl. But
well, they kind of got distracted because there's a big, heaping canned food plant with 3 trucks and just a few walkers, and there's even an Alaska license plate for Aaron.
Perfect.
How did they know? Just a coincidence. And we've heard about the booby traps before, and we've kind of seen some of them in the pickup truck with the walkers all in there. And we've always wondered why there were some just hanging with no limbs. And we're still wondering because they had an awful lot of them. When those doors flew open, it almost took Daryl's hand off.
Gosh.
Yeah, there's like half a dozen of them in there, too. Just hanging up on meat hooks.
Why didn't they hear
just
them?
the torsos. It was awful.
I guess if you can lure them out and come back and try and get in there, they can still take a bite. Who knows? Maybe it's probably just for psychological effect to see them hang in there. And they were all over the place. I mean, these doors opened everywhere. All of a sudden they were out. I couldn't even understand how they got out into the parking lot unless the other side of the truck opened too.
No, once see, all the backs of the trucks looked like they were locked. I think there was either 3 or 4 trucks. And there was one truck that did not have a lock on it. So that's the one that Daryl opened. As soon as he opened that, they flashed up, and you saw a wire on a pulley.
Yep.
And it must have run through all the trucks and tripped whatever it tripped to force the doors open.
And they were all over the place.
And there was a whole bunch of walkers in there.
It had to be over 100. I tried to count the sky shot, the overhead view shot, and it was well over 100 extras in there, all done up in makeup. They probably had a hell of a day that day doing the special effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm assuming if you have one faraway shot of you're right, say 100 or something like that, the makeup for some of them is not as good as the makeup that they have to do for the close-ups. Because let's face it. I mean, if you've got a shot from 100 feet away, if you just have somebody with raggedy clothes and their head down, you can't tell.
That's true. See, that's why you should be in charge. I'd spend way too much money on extra makeup. But they jump under the truck. Daryl grabs the chain, and that had to be the best shot of the whole.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so cool.
3 at once.
3 noggins, 1 chain, no waiting. And I guess they had no way out except to get in that car.
I always thought they would just try to head for the fence. I mean, the gate.
Well, that's what their walkers were behind them too. All of a sudden, like they came out of the back of the truck and the front of the truck.
Yeah.
And that's what was kind of weird because, if they would just open the warehouse door and the 4 trucks, they could have ran and probably made it to the gate. But they were already blocking them off from that direction too.
Let me ask you a question about that place. Do you remember on AMC there's those little short movies that they have that are sort of an adjunct to The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
The different characters and stuff.
Little webisodes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the technical term. There was one that was done in a food warehouse.
That had to be the only one I didn't see.
That was the third one.
I saw the
final one.
I saw the one as the outbreak happened, and the one that was in the hospital. I didn't see the last one. I'm about to go look at that. We're all going to have to go look at that now. Thanks, CB. Now we got to go look at that.
Because I'm wondering if it's the same food warehouse.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to find that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have to go look.
So in
at
other
that.
words, nobody knows.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
But we'll know by next season, and we'll be able to talk about it. But they get stuck in the car, and they find the note, "Do not stay here."
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Because at this point, their plan was, let's rip the seats open, let's cover ourselves, let's wait till a bird flies by, and they all go chase the bird. But don't stay here, bad people. Oh, crap. this is a trap. They're going to be coming for us. Now we got to find a way to get out of here in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Why didn't they try to hotwire it?
Yeah, you never know. I thought about that too, but maybe
That was the first thing that went to my mind. Look over the visor, see if the keys are there. Number one. They never even looked at the ignition.
Yeah, and Daryl knows how to hotwire a car. I don't know. Yeah, they didn't, or else they just didn't show that. But that would have been the easiest thing to do.
I mean, maybe it wouldn't have started, and maybe the thing was dead, but geez, give it a shot.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
I
don't know why they didn't do that.
Scene. That was a claustrophobic. I mean, they're just surrounded, and they're pounding, and they're screaming, and that scene was hard for me to watch.
And Aaron had a little bit of trouble closing the door.
Yeah, those heads. I mean, something about osteoporosis is supposed to be part of that whole. Because how could you crush it? You couldn't crush a skull with a sledgehammer easily. But yeah, you can just close it right in the door and it just squishes up.
Well, you had to give it a couple of whacks before it squished up.
Well, I know we're switching around a lot the same way the show did, but let's just stick with this for a little while. Okay. So Daryl's they basically have a little heart-to-heart. Aaron says that he saw Darren, taking his cry down by the barn and how he led his people down there, and that's how he knew they were good people. Mm-hmm. And Daryl confessed that he, even here, getting ready to die, feel more at home here than stuck in those houses back in Alexandria, and they're kind of coming clean with each other.
Yeah.
And Aaron's saying, we should have kept looking for Red Hoodie. We wouldn't be in this mess. It's all my fault. And Daryl's like, well, I'm the man. Well, you can't argue with that. I'm gonna distract him.
It's my turn to be the man.
You make a run for it. Hey, Aaron steps up. He says, we either make a run for it together or not at all.
Yeah, Aaron's a good man.
And luckily, he had just enough cigarette for Morgan to catch up.
Yeah.
He's been smoking that one cigarette for at least 3 or 4 episodes.
Because if it wasn't for that last little bit of cigarette, they would have jumped out there, probably got bit before Morgan could show up. Yep. And what's the first thing Darren said? Why are you helping us?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Life is precious. We see a little bit of the insight of where Morgan's head is at right now.
Yeah.
And I love when Aaron goes right into recruitment mode. Hey, we've got a place, we got TV, we got jacuzzis, we got internet, Wi-Fi. Come on. No, I can't. I'm looking for somebody. He shows them the map that they had left at the church, and Daryl looks at it. He looks at Morgan.
Well, we know Daryl can read.
He looks back down. He looks at Morgan again. That was the funny. To me, that was one of the funniest parts. One of the funniest parts of the whole episode. He looks down. Looks up, looks down again to make sure he's all right, looks up again. Because, you hear Daryl talking to the talking dead. There had to be some point off camera where Daryl and Rick talked about Morgan, and he knew who he was, or knew of him, why he left the map there and so forth. So, yeah, damn, small world, I wouldn't want to paint it, but, small world. And that's where we leave them for the time being. Then we go back to Carol and her casserole.
Yeah, buddy.
She goes to see Porch. She's your woman. You tell us about this one, CB.
Well, it's great because she walks in and she's going to give him the casserole, and she walks in all nice and happy and everything. As soon as the door closes, boom, the mask comes down on her, and she looks at him and says, "You're going to go help the girl who was injured."
Tara.
Yeah, Tara, who was injured. You got to go take a look at her. I'm not going there. And then got the casserole in one hand. Out comes the giant Bowie knife in the other, holds it up under his chin and says, "I could kill you. In fact, I might kill you." And I'd just tell him that you attacked me, and everybody would believe me. And she says it very calm in the same monotone voice that she told the Sam about I'm going to tie you to a tree and let the walkers eat you. And the best part about it is he doesn't have a problem fighting with Rick. They go flying through a window. They're rolling in the street. They're pounding the crap out of each other. 5-foot Carol's standing there looking at him, and he is scared shitless.
He's shaking. Yeah.
And he should be scared shitless because she will run him through and smile while she does it and give him a cookie.
And she even looks at me, the way this is played out, you have a chance to live. Then she goes, your wife's in another house and you're here by yourself. She's gone. And you're so small.
Mm-hmm. To this big man.
Just basically revs him up for what happens later. And let's not forget about the casserole dish.
Yeah. And I want it back clean.
I honestly jumped when he broke the dish. I went, oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, he's dead now. If he wasn't dead before, he's dead now.
Oh, I was like, no.
I wonder how many casserole dishes she has. She gave one to Diana. That one's gone.
Let's hope that's the last one. We don't want to
if
casserole.
Who is it? The Grim Reaper comes up with his sickle. Carol comes up with her casserole. It's the same thing.
We got to think of some good memes. But then we go back to Nicholas, and basically he shoots Glenn right through the shoulder.
It's a bad shot.
Yeah, well, it's Nicholas. What are you going to do? It's Nick Dick. Then they fight over the next several scenes, and they even leave us wondering if Glenn gets eaten at one point when these three walkers kind of jump on him.
Yeah.
We go back to Rick and Jesse. Blah, 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 blah. I love you, but I don't want to tell you. Blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. They could write that just
They're a hell of a romantic lock.
They could write that just a little bit better. I don't think these writers know how to write romantic after being inundated with violence for all these years. I mean, basically, we got Rick wanting to kill some lady's husband, and then, that's Shane. That's Shane. That's what Shane did. How ironic.
Yeah. Rick's turned into Shane.
But other than that, they cannot write love scenes. I'm sorry. We've already talked about that. Morgan, blah, blah, blah. We're kind of skipping around our show notes, so bear with us because we got at least 15, 17 minutes left. Oh, Father Dick.
Oh, my God.
He tries to kill himself.
On his little walk.
Badly.
Yeah.
Suicide by Walker.
Badly.
You know what I got out of that whole scene, though, other than him, he killed the walker. He wouldn't let the walker kill him. But the poor guy that was there getting eaten, who was he? No name, no story. Just like Red Hoodie. He was within walking distance of Alexandria. And one walker walks right up to him after he's obviously survived out there for at least 2 to 3 years. And maybe he took a nap in the wrong time, and the walker got him. I mean, gutted him, too. He was eating his insides, and he was still alive.
I think he had a red T-shirt. Did he have a red T-shirt, or was it just blood?
I thought it was white, some kind of white shirt. It wasn't Red Hoodie guy. We know that.
No. I know it wasn't a Red Hoodie guy, but I'm thinking that the guy lying in the road also had a red T-shirt on. That's my memory. Because if you remember the original Star Trek, if anybody had a red uniform on, they're dead.
Oh, God.
I mean, all Red Hoodie needed was one of those Star Trek emblems on his chest, and it would have been fine.
Oh.
We saw the red balloons. We didn't see any red balloons this episode, though. But Gabrielle, he's pretty much losing it. He goes out. He ends up fighting off both of the walkers. And, like I said, that was the second funniest part with Daryl and Morgan. The funniest part of this entire show was when Abe shows up to check on Tara. Rosita's there, and Eugene's asleep. Eugene's just sound asleep, and Rosina purposely drops the pan and goes, oops. The pan back to Eugene. He's just staring holes through him.
Awkward.
Yeah, but they kissed and made up.
Yeah, they had to. I think they had to settle that for the sake of the fans. They had to pull that storyline in. And yeah, what Eugene said, you got us here. All I did was craft a top shelf lie to perpetrate the. You know, Abe was like,
all those multisyllabic words.
Damn, he just goes on. That's the one thing I don't like about it. I'm starting to like Eugene. I'm starting to warm up to Eugene, but I still don't like that about it. And Abe goes,
that's his most endearing quality is the way that he talks.
I thought it was the mullet.
Or his hair. Yeah, his hair.
I don't have hair. I'd take a mullet at this point in my life.
Abe looks at him and said, yeah, but I tried to kill you. Well, there is that. But just the stare on his face when Eugene looks back at Rosita and then looks at Eugene and he's just wide awake and staring holes through him. Like an alien just woke up and he's getting ready to pounce on him. Fortunately, later we do see Tara come around, so we know she's going to be probably fine by the season 6 premiere.
We saw kind of the little hospital setup too. Behind Tara, there was all kinds of prescription medicines, and so they just had a hospital set up in one of the houses, I guess.
Well, that's where she was first treated by Porch Dick. He just wouldn't come back to check on her after Rick beat the snot out of him. But let's see, Gabrielle comes back in, and Spencer is the first one that wants to make a confession, and Gabrielle's not having any part of helping anybody at this point.
Nope, he's toast.
And you never let a suicidal father Dick alone to close the gate.
Hey, lock the door, will you?
Rule number one in the Walker apocalypse. And what did Rick find in there? Was there something caught in it, or was that just part of the Walker?
It was part of the
blood.
Walker.
Okay.
And then there's a little trail of blood, and had come off on the lock, so he knew they were inside.
Obviously, when he came through, he just caught himself on that locking mechanism that they'd built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was nothing blocking it or anything. But Michonne and Rick, back again. Rick confesses everything. He tries to give her the gun. She won't take the gun. She's still on his side. Then we go back to Sasha and Father Dick. Both of them are kind of lost. And do you notice how they both kind of stumble into therapy for each other? They're beating the shit out of each other. Gabrielle is confronting her, telling her what she needs to hear, but he's not doing it to save her. He's doing it to be a hateful little dick.
Uh-huh.
He's telling her that her brother wasted his life, and you're miserable. You shouldn't live. The dead can't make choices. You're living. You made choices, and you made the wrong choices, and you should die.
You don't deserve to be here.
It's what she needed to hear, but he wasn't saying it to play tough love. He was just being a dick. And then of course
that's his job.
Yeah, it seems that way. And then we got the meeting. Glenn and Rick aren't there, obviously, because they're both out. One's beating up Walkers, one's beating up Nicholas. And Deanna wants to focus on the stolen gun, not, Pete beating his wife or why it all started, but just the stolen gun. And she really seems like she's out for blood.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a lot of flashing back and forth. We see Glenn finally, get the best of Nick. And what was it talking to him? I mean, he blow his head off. That's all I had to say. But it's Glenn. And Glenn can't do that. And there would have been a big investigation, and Rick would have had to go out and do forensics. And, he would they knew when Shane killed that one kid and his neck was broken and then he turned. Mm-hmm. Daryl knew right then that Shane killed the kid before he turned.
Mm-hmm.
That one that they had tied up in the barn for so long. That was 2 or 3 seasons ago for everybody listening. We're kind of reminiscing at this point. Rick catches up to the Walkers, and I don't know if the Walkers got the dog, but I heard the dog barking.
Yeah, well, that was very smart of Rick. He's looking for these Walkers. He came out, follow to where the dogs bark. The dog knows where the Walkers are. Follow the dog.
Yeah, I bet the Walkers know where the dogs are too. The reason you don't see a bunch of dogs out there because they're food. If Rick and the group will eat a couple of dogs, a Walker will. They'll eat a horse. We've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like I said, we keep flipping back and forth this time. The speakers at the meeting, Tobin. Yeah, I don't like Tobin no more. He was against Rick. I just want to be safe. I just want to put the walls up and let's eat whatever food we got left and let's be safe. And we see Rick taking out the Walker. What do they call it on Talking Dead? The freshly squeezed Walker. He blows the
Yes.
hole in it. Yeah, God, that was kind of gross.
That was bad.
Well, he used the walker's head as a silencer.
Yeah, that was smart because he didn't want anybody to know he had the gun.
No, because normally, I mean, you just put it up under the walker's chin and pull the trigger and be done with it. But he put it inside the walker's head.
He didn't want to get caught with another gun. He's getting there having the meeting.
And if he left it in there, who's going to go looking for it?
Well, we're at the same time we're watching the meeting. We're watching Rick take out the walkers. We're watching Sasha put the beat down on Father Dick. Mm-hmm. And right in the middle of all this, we don't know if Glenn's going to live. We don't know if Rick's going to live. We don't know if Walker's going to sneak up and bite Judith's head off. Abe gets his turn at the meeting.
And in inimitable Abe fashion,
There's an ocean of shit you people don't know shit about, and Rick knows every fine grain of shit there is.
well, he's got my vote. There's a rousing election speech if I ever heard one.
I'm starting to like Abe too, even with the G.I. Joe comic book haircut. Then we kind of see the Red Hoodie get whacked. He gets his throat cut.
Poor Red Hoodie guy.
Yeah, we
That was just
didn't even
sad.
know his name. Maybe
A
he'll
man
show
with
up.
no name.
Maybe he'll show up on one of the webisodes. The same two wolves that Morgan beat the snot out of reset the trap with I had techno in my notes, but you guys know the name of the song, don't you?
B, do you remember?
Yeah, it's called Love and Mercy. It's from Brian Wilson, and the cover for the show was made by a group called Gazelle Twin.
Love and Mercy. Okay. So
And it-
And
appropriate
a side
time.
note of this, Brian Wilson and Charles Manson were friends.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn.
You're right. You're right.
It's creepy.
Well, there you go. But real quick, because we're running out of time, Maggie pleads with everyone at the group. She's the politician. You really want to be part of Rick's family, because if you're part of Rick's family, Rick won't try and blow your head off. Deanna actually lets it out what Father Gabriel said. Mm-hmm. And Jesse cries hearsay. Well, he's not here
That
to
was
say
funny.
Yeah, he's not here to say it. Where's he at? That sends Maggie off looking for Father Dick, and both of them, same time. Nick and Father Dick are staring down the barrel of a gun, one by Sasha and the other by Glenn. Rick shows up with a walker. Glenn can't kill Nick. Maggie stops Sasha.
Here, have a walker.
Yeah, he
What's
throws
the
that
first
walker.
thing he says? I didn't bring it in. It got in by itself. Explains the gate was open. Did you see the look Deanna gives Spencer?
Yes.
Go. She's
Yeah.
a little troll.
Well,
But
she's got the right height.
yeah, I mean, she's just evil, and he jumped. Oh, I thought, well, Spencer throws Gabriel right into the bus. Good for him. And then Porch Dick shows up, and he somehow has Michonne's sword.
How did he get that?
He probably walked into the house and got it, but
He shows up with Michonne's sword. That's horrible. He stole it.
yeah, he just went in there. I guess it's the only weapon he could get a hold of. You think he would have had a couple, but being a surgeon, he'd have some scalpels or something. But no, he's got to go steal Michonne's sword. And just true to the comic book, when Reg was Regina and Deanna was a male, but Deanna is the Congress person, and she's the head, and Reg is her spouse. And just in the comic book, Pete kills Reg in the comic book. So we basically held up straight from the comics.
Yeah.
And this is what perpetuates Rick taking over the group, because Deanna falls apart at this point in the comic book. But he just slices his throat. It looked like it was an accident, but
It
he
did look
was
like an accident.
enraged. And
Yeah.
he was enraged because of Carol.
Yeah.
And Carol's sitting back. Carol don't even jump on him. Michonne and Tobin, I believe, jumped on him.
Yeah.
I know it was Michonne, but it looked like Tobin as well. Carol doesn't even put up a finger in any of these little discussions.
I
She's
know.
just standing there, just being Carol. Not much of an expression on her face, just hanging out. That's what she was doing. I mean, maybe she had decided not to speak as of yet and just let the whole thing play out. But even when Porch Dick came in with the sword and everything, she just stood there. She wasn't worried. She wasn't scared. She knew, if she had a rubber band and a toothpick, she could kill the guy.
And, if he killed Rick, she was in charge of the group. If he killed somebody else or Rick killed him, hey, it's all good. She was ready to let it play out any number of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But this really was the whole downer to the thing because, as in the comic book, Deanna looks at Rick and says, "Do it."
Mm-hmm.
And
he doesn't hesitate either.
I'm sure it's not that she is such a great leader that he follows her orders. I think he just wanted to kill the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have to tell him twice.
Yeah, that's true. Then he looks up and sees his long-lost friend who saved his life when this first started, looking at him like he just perpetrated the worst sin he could.
That was such a great scene.
How did they get in?
He looks up and there's Morgan.
Oh, at this point, Spencer had gone back out. And from the look of that gate, you could reach in and unhook it, if you were a human.
Yeah, not good.
It just seems like you could, but not if you were, if you were.
Well, there's the gate, and then there's a solid metal door that also slides across, and that bolt slides through both of them.
Well, Enid gets in and out whenever she wants.
Yeah, well, she climbs over the wall.
And at this point, Spencer had run back to the gate, so that could have been the time where they got in and came back out.
Yeah.
So that's where it ended, but there was a few other things. The wolves find Aaron's backpack.
That's bad.
Yeah, they're still 50 miles away, but it looks like there were directions and a map, which he didn't have when he went to Rick's group, but he had this time. For the sake of the story, they got to be able to find him and go to war with him.
Because that's going to be the bad news for season 6.
And then we see Michonne with her sword. And she goes to put it back on the wall, and nope. She's going to carry it with her from now on so nobody gets their throat cut.
Good.
Yeah.
No, because she's going back into Michonne mode.
Yeah, exactly.
War mode. So why do you think the wolves... Do we know why they're trapping people?
I think they're building an army.
Or do you think I always think, are they trapping them to take all their supplies? Or build an army?
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would collect weak people. They just overrun camps. You heard him say, we run right through camps. We take whatever we want.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
I'm sure they're taking strong people that they find and forming this group or this army. Mm-hmm. But look at all the people they're just killing and putting and chiseling W in their forehead.
I know.
Well, that could be a fear tactic too.
True, and they put and they're also putting it in their own foreheads. But we've got less than a minute left. I want to thank
LJ.
Got to get LJ in a couple of times. I want to thank everybody for joining us this season. We will be back in August when Fear the Walking Dead starts, and that will be the West Coast version of what happened during the Walker Apocalypse. You can catch CB every Monday night with Slim and Zip on Off the Hook Radio at 10 p.m. right here on All Digital Radio, the All Digital Radio Network. And you can catch Wendy and myself and Beatrice and the rest of the Dirt Farmer team every Sunday at 8 o'clock? Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday for the Dirt Farmer Live Farmville Radio Show. We have 15 seconds left. Anybody want to say anything about the season?
Yeah, this final episode had the best ratings for the day and for all seasons.
Well, there you